Alright, welcome everyone. Today we're going to be covering blockchain in Brazil. This is a new technology in the last couple of years that has been used. It's really cool, so we're going to talk a little bit about it, how it's being used in Brazil in relation to the SDGs, why it's being used, SWOT analysis, and then two truths and a lie at the end. So let's get into it. Alright, so we're going to start by defining blockchain. Blockchain is a virtual ledger that uses virtual technology to record transactions across computer networks. This decentralization makes the data transparent, verifiable, and hard to change. Each block of data is linked cryptographically to the previous one, which is what gives blockchain its name. So the key things that you're going to think about are decentralized, so no one owns it or controls it, makes it transparent, verifiable, and hard to change. In order for blockchain data to be sent to each other, it has to be agreed upon by both systems. There needs to be consensus, which is where that decentralization comes in, which makes it so important, which is really quite cool. So who is using blockchain technology in Brazil? The Brazilian government is using blockchain to add security to its national ID cards. Now it's doing this pretty much by making it just a cryptographic key, so to say, instead of exactly them having a password. So it's connecting your ID with a cryptographic key, essentially, that you can use instead of passwords, which is neat. The government has also implemented blockchain in monetary transactions to increase transparency and security. Blockchain technology being used for sending and securing financial transactions really increases the security. It's one of the most secure ways of transferring money, so it also lets you be secure and transparent in what you're sending, which for the government is quite an important thing. Next up is that agricultural technology has been developed to improve documentation in farming areas. So you're seeing farmers even beginning to use blockchain to some degree. But where is blockchain being used? So the City Hall in Brazil has implemented IDs backed by blockchain so citizens can have cryptographic keys without needing passwords. This is quite cool. This is part of that national ID thing we were talking about on the last slide. In the state of Bahia, they launched a blockchain-based bidding software for tracking government contract bids. So whenever the government is lending out their contracts for whatever given fiscal period, and people have to go in and bid, that's actually being backed by blockchain-based software. So blockchain is being used for bidding, which makes it more secure and more transparent, which is really nice. And then lastly, in the Rio Grande do Norte state in Brazil, they're co-developing the contract bidding software, but for the Rio Grande do Norte state, they're using it specifically for agriculture. So it's going to be used a lot by those farmers like we were talking about. Next up is why is blockchain being used? A SWOT analysis. So a strength is that the government's new ID system provides secure identification along with safer banking solutions and transparency benefits. So specifically for safer banking, that's a huge one. People want their information to be safe and they want their transactions to be secure. Blockchain does a really good job of this. One of the weaknesses is regulatory uncertainty, digital divide, and lack of training. Essentially, because it's so new, there's not a lot of regulation on it. The digital divide means there's some people who are really in tech-heavy areas that are going to have a lot of access to blockchain and get to use its benefits, while people in more rural areas who are not so technologically advanced will not have access to those things. And then, of course, a lack of training. Opportunities. There's public sector transformation, supply chain benefits, and localized banking inclusion. Some threats include crime-related, cryptographic-related crime, political instability, regulatory concerns, and technology dependency. And then how is blockchain being used to support our 17 SDGs? So it helps support the industry, innovation, and infrastructure SDG, which is SDG 9, which blockchain helps infrastructure and innovation, and then also helps the no poverty SDG, which is the first one. With the security of blockchain, will help deal with monetary theft, helping people keep their savings. Next up is going to be two truths and a lie. So I'm going to let you look at it and see if you can figure out which one the lie is. And if we click on the next slide here, you're going to see that red one is going to be the lie. Brazil has not completely banned the use of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and stablecoin in 2024. They are actually openly embracing new technologies in Bitcoin in their financial transactions, so that is the lie. Thank you for listening.